And this is where you create this connection to ensure that you really make a people-centric organization. And this is driven by the vision of the whole corporate and our leadership team, that people comes first, employee comes first. Consumer is our king, but our kings were our people who help us to make it.
How do you believe that, successful organizations arrive to implementing it?
Encouraging continuous learning, encouraging dialogue, set systematic periodic meetings.
Do you believe that management trainings are effective enough for really impactful leadership in this era?
Personally, I don't look at it from a...
Welcome to another episode of Extraordinary Leadership Podcast. My name is Dagmara Asbreuk. I'm your host and founder of Extraordinary Leadership and Transformational Executive Coach. Today in episode, we focus on the impact of human-centric leadership in business success. And for that, I have in studio Maher Sabbagh, who is seasoned HR executive, bringing over 20 years of experience in shaping human capital across organizations and cultures. And in this episode, we're going to unpack his leadership journey, what shaped it, what is the business landscape demanding from top executives, and of course, how to really implement human-centric organization. So if you want to drive results and performance in your organization and unleash human potential, this podcast episode is for you. Let us dive in, and I want to welcome you, Maher, here in the studio.
Thank you very much, Dagmara. I'm glad to be here and looking forward to our discussion and hope your audience will enjoy it. So, let's begin.
Yes, and you bring a lot of wisdom, a lot of experiences that definitely will be of value. And, the first question for you is, tell us about your journey and especially those pivotal moments that really shaped your leadership.
Yeah, well, the journey goes back for quite some years, as you mentioned in your introduction, 20 plus years. It started in the field of human resources. At the beginning, humble beginnings. It used to be called personnel. I think I was lucky that I started my career back home in Jordan with multinational companies, multinational businesses. And I started in manufacturing. Then I moved into FMCG retail. And then I moved into different locations. I think I was blessed by keep on pushing myself that I want to go international. I want to be exposed to different cultures, inspired by so much role models in my life. Of course, one of them is my father, who has been an expat and traveling all over the world. So eventually I joined this business, and the journey started back in 2001, actually. And I started my journey in Jordan. Then I went to Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia. I went to Iran, Sudan, Bangladesh, and that was the last station in my life. Then I did few months also in Africa, where I spent like the last 6 months of my international journey in African countries. I love Africa. I stayed there for quite some times. And now I see the time to start giving back to the business community and to the HR community, sharing my experience, all the stages in my career, to share it with people and to share the learning as well. Lots of incidents shaped my vision towards the world, especially when you go to the underprivileged countries or organizations where you do merger acquisition, and businesses and people start to look at you that what's going to happen with us? I mean, those big companies are coming into the market. Are they going to let us go? Are they going to terminate us? What's going to happen? So this is where you develop this understanding and awareness that how people look at you at serious eye, and they want to see what you can add to them. Then you understand that anything you do or will do will impact their life, and it's not a momental impact. It's something that will last with them. So mainly when I went to Sudan was one of the interesting journeys for me, because it's a very tough environment, harsh environment. Infrastructure is poor. So we started giving to the community. We started giving to the people, to our employees. And this is where you create this connection to ensure that you really make a people-centric organization. And this is driven by the vision of the whole corporate and our leadership team, that people comes first, employee comes first. Although we have consumer is our king, but our kings were our people who help us to make it. So these are the incidents that you go through. Also, it's kind of a war zone. So you see a lot of deprived people, but you appreciate what you have. And this is what develops internal need that you want to give, you want to share, and you want to train those people to be able to continue. Because everyone leaves behind him a legacy, and you want to leave something behind you.
Beautiful. So many different countries and so many different experiences.
Yeah.
And, first thing that comes to me to ask is like, what were the most challenging experiences?
To tell you, it's been all challenging experiences, but I was always pushing myself that if I want to learn, I need to go beyond the norm. I don't like to stay in my comfort zone. I like to go to those locations where it is really, you need to wear several hats. Okay, and I love interacting with different cultures, different people. Okay, and I love to interact with people at the ground level all the way to the top. So I always felt that I enjoy this cultural understanding, cultural sensitivity. So I was always putting my name first to go. For example, Iran. I raised my hand, I want to go to Iran. Then I was called to go to Sudan. Then I was called to go to Bangladesh. So this is how you convey yourself. It's pushing yourself to learn more and to go beyond your comfort zone, so you can really understand what's your value and unlock your potential. Challenging locations, as I said, I mean, in Sudan, it was a kind of a war zone over there. So we had to do evacuation, lots of challenges we've been through. Challenges from a human factor, let's say, scarcity of talents, the need to bring different people from different locations, ensure those different people who comes from different nationalities. I had people who came from Switzerland, Germany, Turkey, Tanzania, different African countries. I don't want to miss naming any country, but we were like more than 40 different expats over there. So imagine how I need to manage their differences and their cultural understanding and manage the local culture. The language barrier was a thing, but not to me because I speak Arabic as well. But what made it more accessible to me and easier is the connection with people. To be able to talk to people, is to be able to connect and understand and be transparent and lead by example. Yeah.
A lot of, important points you mentioned. So first of all, hearing is the drive to grow and learn and explore, and that's the curiosity. Definitely, I hear you, a person that, love challenges and love to grow from these challenges. And kudos for, going to places where probably many of us would, question twice if to go. And what I hear keeps repeating is this human connection that you're bringing up. What did you discover about this human connection when you were there? The importance of the human connection when you were there?
From a human connectivity, I believe, regardless of where are we coming from, we share similar values. We need to feel appreciated, we need to feel safe, we need to feel protected, and we need to grow. So having those connections, those values helped a lot and supported me a lot to be able to connect with people. And I, by nature, I call myself like a kind of a people connector, I like to talk to people because by nature we're social creatures, let's say. I mean, we're social butterflies, let's call it this way. We feed ourselves by talking to people, knowing people. And what is important to me that talking to people, interacting with people makes me learn a lot. Different perspective, different views, different thoughts, different ideas, conversation, which feeds the innovation and it feeds your perspective towards life, towards others. So, yeah.
I can sense that it is in you, right?
Yeah.
Some people have it more. Some people need to embrace that in their journey. So, and I know you personally, so I can sense how that transpires being the people connector as well.
Yeah, it is very important to balance because when we go into the professional side of it from our life, you need to understand that when you are in a senior level, you need to balance between how you convey, how you portray yourself. And at the end of the day, from an HR perspective, I'm sure that we need to hold the stick from the middle and to balance between people and business. Because at the end of the day, every business, we look into our bottom line, our P&L, what's the profitability, how the business will continue, sustainability, how we can grow as well. At the same time, we link it to the source of this growth, which is people. So you need to link this together. So you need to balance from a professional point of view. And this is what gives you more insights on when you connect with the people, when you understand people and understand the business, you would be able to put this formula working together and create the long-term ownership and unlock people's commitment towards successful career, successful business, and so on. This is how I look at it from a formula perspective.
Yeah, and I think we're going to dive into this formula in a minute. So what I'm taking already for listeners is, I think what really is the base of this formula that you bring, and I totally agree with you, is this connection, human connection, which is an enabler of collaboration, performance, business success. And definitely we go deeper into your formula. And before that, maybe still being with your journey, I was wondering, what were their key lessons maybe, or shifts or aha moments in your journey, in your, well, almost 30 years? That's a long span, but definitely there were the moments that were precious gifts. And I believe that those challenging moments in our life are always those precious gifts. And something that shapes us and helps us to grow. So I was wondering, what were those along the journey for you that made you so, come up with this formula maybe?
The great thing, I would say, that when you go to those locations, different areas, different places, you will be faced with a challenge. But this is where you need to understand to change this into opportunity. Okay, so changing the situation into an opportunity and find an opportunity for improvement, for making yourself better. So one of the things is to keep reminding myself, and the aha moment, it happens several times, is humbleness. Lead with humbleness. Okay, we are here to pass the knowledge. We are here to make a successful business. At the end of the day, it's something to win as an individual, as a team, as a business. So humbleness, honesty, to me also do the right thing. It's at the end of the day, you have to do it right. You have to admit if it's wrong, you did something wrong. You need to cry for help, shout out for help. So you need to be yourself. You need to be authentic. You don't need to be decent in what you're doing or how you conduct yourself. As again, to your question, plenty of moments were reminded me of myself, and we need to always be reminded that nobody is indispensable. Business will continue and will thrive with you or without you. But even you need to think that when I do it right and my conscience is at peace and I know that I've done the thing that how it's supposed to be done, you don't really pay attention, or you don't really care about how you're perceived, how you're judged, how people look at you. Do the right thing. Be humble. Be honest. Being an empathetic leader makes a difference. And this is something I encourage all the people I talk to, I interact with, is look at it from an empathetic point of view. Leader with empathy, it's not a weakness. It's a strength.
That's an important one, I think, to sink in. And what describes for you this empathetic leadership?
Always put yourself in the shoe of others. Live the moment. Understand, feel what they're going through before you judge or you decide or you move on. Just let's be honest. Karma. What goes around comes around. So I like to always look at it from the point of view of others. And give excuses. It doesn't mean that you destroy everything and you damage the whole system when you give excuses. No. For example, if you pass by someone of your colleagues in the company and you say to him good morning and he doesn't answer you, you don't say why he didn't even look me in the eye. No. You say, I hope something okay, everything's okay with him. Maybe something bad happened to him, whatever. You see, give people several reasons and excuses before you really make your decision, and this eventually create culture of trust and culture of engagement and understanding. This is how I see empathy.
Yeah. So it's kind of a show you care.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing, and also it's this aspect of seeing an employee as a whole being, right? Because it's so easy for busy performance-driven leaders that obviously everybody thinks about business performance, right? Who is in business? That's very normal, very given. But that sometimes that can take away the focus from this human aspect, right? For the being more empathetic as a leader, placing attention for connection, human connection, and showing that you care. Which kind of at the end fuels the performance. So I like that you brought importance or put the spotlight on how important is that, and take away, I think, also the assumptions that we can so quickly make, assumptions of why people are maybe not performing sometimes as well, right? Or challenged or procrastinating. We face that when we lead people, right? Different situations. And of course, our brain makes fast assumptions very easily, assuming, maybe that and labeling that maybe somebody didn't care. So I think that this empathic approach, right? And putting yourself sometimes also in a shoe of somebody else or trying to even be curious of what's going on is actually making such a difference.
I fully agree, but one thing we need to be clear of, it doesn't mean that you're always, when you are at the top level, at senior level, you need to wear several hats. And when I say empathetic, it doesn't mean that, okay, we give excuse if you have 1,500 people, you give them the same excuse. No, we need to, there has to be understanding to people, to situation. Okay, but at the end also you have to make sure that you can't treat everyone with the same level of empathy or same level of, because everyone is in a different situation. So when you don't need to be taken for granted, otherwise you could lose the grip of it or the control of it. So you need to understand how to wear different hats in different situations. That doesn't makes you to move from the core being an empathetic. But my message is not to abuse the advantage of working with an empathetic leader, because those leaders also understand the business and knows when you are doing it right or not right. So I'm trying to deliver the message that do not abuse the empathetic leader, because this is going to be backfire if the empathetic leader felt being taken advantage or taken for granted.
And that's an important point, because every of us obviously have the zone of genius and has these edges that we work on, right? And of course, when I'm thinking from perspective of empathetic leadership, and there can be this, when you talk about this abuse, right? There can be also this notion of going into the pleasing side, right? Which is so easy to slip into, depending of what kind of paradigms we are in that we need to discover in our leadership journey. So I think on one side is also noticing and setting your boundaries, right, as a leader. So it's important, especially when you have that natural gift, I would say, of being empathic and people focused and human-centric and all of that. Important part is also, and that's maybe the question also for you, right? How is this showing up in your journey, and how do you view it, and how important is it to also set those boundaries, and as you said, also know when to change the hat or maybe when to actually say something different.
Yeah, and this is when I go back to being connected with people and have this cultural sensitivity, cultural understanding. And when you are a partner in the business, you know the business. You're not only HR sitting in behind you're living in your HR world. You are a business partner. You're involved in the business. You're engaged in the business. So you know, where are we going? Where are we heading? What's the direction? You're engaged with several functions, several departments. You know the people. Knowing the people doesn't mean you need to know them by face, by name, but know what's going on, how the business is performing. Be part of this planning, budgeting, strategic vision of the company. So you know then where to switch lane and when to switch lane to make sure to keep the organization on track. And remember, HR, your role is to hold the stick from the middle to balance between business and people. So this is where you need also to manage the relation between top management, middle management, lower management. So this is where you need to know and to understand when to switch lanes and when to jump from one profile to another and so on. So this is how you need to know to really be part of the business cycle.
Yeah, I think it's an important one, and HR also goes through a transformation as a function itself, right? Because it plays such an important role in the business and people development and capital, unleashing the capital, right? And I like what you say, because I mean, I have not come from an HR function. I've been 15 years on the procurement side, so on a business function, we call it, as you know, in those corporate worlds. And yes, it's important, as you mentioned, I can see that the most successful HR organizations and leaders are, of course, this bridge and feeling themselves part of the business. Because obviously it's not just a supportive function when needed, but an instrumental function in the business, shaping actually the business success. And I can resonate very much with it, because, you know, procurement function, funny enough, has gone through very similar transformation in the past, and it's still going, actually. So also in procurement has never been regarded and respected in the same terms as sales organization, as an example, right? So it's also funny to see those different dynamics. And I think at the end, it's about having a seat at the table and being also an active contributor at the seat and the table, shaping the success together. So thinking from those different lenses. So we're coming back to, you know, empathy and connection plays a super important role for any leader, any function, because at the end it's about relationship management, stakeholder management, and people leadership, right?
Yes.
So the question that emerges for me to ask is, how would you define in your own words a human-centric leadership?
It's very important to give it some thought, because some things comes naturally, but human-centric is that, you know, when you go to your work, we interact among ourselves for 8 hours, 10 hours, and we see each other more than we see our family. So, and we are all serving for the same purpose, to make this business successful. So you keep thinking that then I need to do something good for this business, and this business needs to be good for me. So from this, you shape the idea, or you shape the company culture, that we care to our people because they are the core or the center of our delivery and success. So it starts from the top. It starts from the leadership team, when they really care. In my previous experience, we used to do this planning and budgeting, and we were always keeping something on the side for emergency, for our people. It is very important to show people that we care. So you need to care, and this is how you create commitment. This is how you create ownership, and it's all starting from the top, the leadership team, whether it's from the CEO level, board of directors, and cascade down. We have great examples over here in the UAE, especially in Dubai and some businesses where the family, the owners are engaged, involved with their people, and you would see how people works in some family businesses and some corporation for like 30 and plus years. So this is where it comes from, the top leadership team, that we need to remember how we started, where we are today, and we need to cascade this across the board to ensure sustainability and continuity. So it's a mindset of the management. And when you have a management or leadership team that they are all on the same page, they are all engaged, they are striving for the same objective, this makes it much easier. HR needs to keep reminding the company in general, the business, that we have to care for our people, so our people keep contributing and giving. And this is what we see in the initiatives going on, well-being, mental wellness, all those activities. This creates a strong relation and literally form a human-centric culture, environment that really makes the business thrive. So big responsibility on leadership team to be vigilant and aware of pushing this. HR is enabler. We are facilitator for our top management and leadership to be able to deliver their message and to convey their vision. So it's not the HR thing that they need to be to lead and to create. No, they need to be the enabler, and they need to be the trustworthy partner, business partner, to ensure this is rolled out.
Yeah, so many important points you mentioned I hear. You know, number one, what comes to me is this, you mentioned mindset, and it's so important, is I think perspective and reminder that, yeah, people are the greatest asset, which is being challenged in the era of AI.
Yes. Yeah.
When I was just thinking about it, because yes, we know there are also fantastic AI solutions and AI agents and more things coming there, which of course come to challenge a little bit that, right? And at the same time, that's where we actually have the potential sitting on the capital, right, of the business, because at the end, business is about people, right, in any shape and form. And the second, I think what you mentioned, very important key, is that it actually starts from the top, which is, I think, I can see from organizations I've been in and, leaders I've worked with, this is usually one of the challenge. If something's dysfunctional in an organization, it always starts kind of at the top. And it's so important that there is this common mindset and also alignment to, in which way what kind of culture we want to foster and what kind of leadership style we want to have here that serves the business purpose as well, right? So that's, I think, the second thing what I'm hearing that you're putting a spotlight on, very, very important. The third is the role of HR that you brought, right? And I can see it too. The misconception, I think, like, HR will take care of people, will take care of numbers. Yeah. So that integration is a little bit more. So where do you see challenges there? That would be interesting to explore. Where do you see biggest challenges exactly there?
Most of the challenges we face is to bring ourselves and to secure a spot on the table within the top leadership round table. This is the challenge where you need to be perceived. You must be perceived as the trustworthy business partner. And this comes by understanding the business, by driving a neutral, a solid, a positive agenda that serves the business, serves the people, clarity, transparency, communication, okay? And your the HR or the people and culture skill that you have is to be able to connect with people and to partner when there is a need. I always say I enjoyed working with our CFOs in different locations because when we work together, we understand the business and we put all the numbers and they help me and they make sure that I remain within the framework, within the overall, let's say, direction of the business in terms of budget numbers, whatever. So this creates synergy and makes our plans for the business robust. So when you go and present to the management team, you present with confidence and you talk to the team with confidence. And the top leader, the CEO, the chairman, when he sees that this has been worked with the finance, they feel comfortable that, yes, the numbers are right. We are engaged. So this is how I see it. It's very important to have this role as to connect and to create this synergy and to ensure finding the right balance. And it's very important also from an HR is to keep bringing the team into shared activities, to keep reminding them, because it's like it's something you need to keep nurturing. So it's last longer and then it's rooted in the DNA of the organization.
Yeah, and it's important. I think this reminder is nourishing. That's the two keywords that I hear. And connector, right? I hear this one coming back, which comes back to your essence, right? Also of who you are. And yeah, I see the importance of reminding and nurturing, fostering that, because we all are human beings, cherish those accountability and reminders. True. So actually that's kind of where I see that. And the question that transpires also, is how an HR organization, right, can effectively support leaders into not only, aligning to the common direction and that mindset, which might be the very first thing, sometimes even shifting that, right, to see it, to be aware of that. But how do you believe that, successful organizations arrive to implementing it from knowing, right, from the awareness to really integration of that leadership style, of that mindset, of that culture, of that lived experience in the organization?
I believe encouraging continuous learning, encouraging dialogue. I really like to have those set, systematic, periodic meetings where people comes together, top management leaders discuss business aspects, and there is always a slot for HR to discuss the needs that we need to provide to our top management to keep on growing, ensuring that we're all committed. And we, for example, when you talk succession planning, you need to train the management on what is succession planning. How does it work? How does it function? You need to create this environment of trust and understanding and believing in the system. But going back to this, I would say constant learning, providing opportunities for leaders to remain on top of what's new, how the world is evolving, and making sure to give the right opportunity and timed for leaders and people, and then be able to really build on certain key critical people who you can grow up in the organization, and they will be able, like the ambassador, to transmit this message. Positivity is contagious.
Yeah, there is an important role in succession planning in every
Yeah.
organization. It's a very strategic development plan.
Yeah.
Because at the end, it's like you want to actually, through that, not only enable the growth of individuals and impact to the business, but also it's like change agents, right? That's from that perspective, a culture development.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, they are the role models. They are transpiring the energy that we want to collectively have in organizations. So they have an important function.
Yeah.
Do you believe that management trainings are effective enough for really impactful leadership in this era?
It's we don't rely on, personally, I don't look at it from that when someone goes into training, like you inserted a chip and then things will change and you will see the ROI at 100%. No, but it makes an impact. I would say that accumulated experiences makes big difference and makes a big impact on people improvement, let's say, level of maturity. But as I said, when you attend leadership training, you mix with different people, different mindset, different cultures. So there is always a reason behind it. Okay, it's not only technical. No, but when you go with the like-minded people in the room, you would gain something, and you will be able to come and reflect. But this is where the role of people division or human resources is to ensure spread the learning. What have we learned? How we can support you to utilize what you've learned? How we can implement, and so on. So I believe continuous learning is
continuous
important.
learning is
and
key.
Sending leaders into certain training and addressing and understanding new trends. You know, the world is changing. You mentioned AI. We need to learn AI now. Okay?
Also,
Funny enough, today I was sharing a post about how many the layoffs have started in tech sector due to AI. But I look at it from a full glass half full. That okay, this is going to happen, but there will be plenty of other opportunities to be created and jobs to be created. But filling these jobs, we need to get training, learning, sharpening our skills, reskilling, upskilling. So we need to invest in our in top management and leadership. They need to understand that this is for their own sake and development.
Absolutely.
We cannot stop. Yeah.
And you know, the favorite question that you can expect from me as an executive coach, as a person maybe, and also knowing a bit of your experience, what do you think is the role of coaching in all of that?
It is very important. I mean, I'm personally went through this even with you, Dagmara. You've coached me for some times, and it's very important during my transition as well. It's very important to find the connection and the click with the coach, and to get this acceptance, so you feel relaxed, you feel comfortable, and then you be able to get the learning and get this support from the coach. Coaching is very important, especially at the top level, at the executive level. Because we are sometimes lonely at top. We need this. Coaches needs this. And it is very important to create safe environment for the executives, okay, and to feel that this is the safe environment and things will be in their favor. I highly promote executive coaches. I always advocate that most of the CEOs, they need to have their own coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's actually interesting because that's what you mentioned is it's one thing is, and I see that with HR leaders, right? That this is the struggle as well, right? It is important, and there is some resistance sometimes, not in our organization, luckily, right? So there are a lot of already batch moved on, and I think and I truly believe that this is, as you say, it's something that part of a package, right? Because it's such a strategic role and such an impactful role. So what would you say for those that are maybe still on the skeptical side, listening here and thinking about coaching? What the coaching has anything to do here with this conversation of human-centric culture and a business performance and all of that? What is a person that also use it, right? As a person that experience it, what would you say actually is this coaching enabling or bringing or fostering, or what's the beauty of it? What's the gift?
Being coached makes me understand myself much more, connect with me deeply, because I see things different from my coach. And when I sit with my coach, they discuss to me openly and we share. I learn more new things about myself that I didn't know they exist. You might learn about some skills, the way to manage your life, the way to manage yourself, the way to manage your energy, the way you portray yourself, lots of things. That's why I encourage the C-level and the executives, because it's not only about numbers, businesses, deliveries. It's about me, myself, you, how you can reshape yourself. And, we're people getting older, so by time they keep on changing and evolving. So coaches help you to understand how you can prepare for next steps, what is important in being agile, for instance, how you overcome certain situation. I don't find the right word more than it is something very important and really needed.
Yeah. Of course, I can only agree with you, especially on the last part. But it is, objectively also speaking, it's like having a partner with whom you can really discuss things that you probably don't have anybody else to discuss with. Sometimes conversations I have with my clients are conversations that they would not have even with their spouses, because obviously that's a different paradigm and different challenge and different environment that everybody lives. So I can totally see the point as an enabler as well, and support actually for the important function that HR has, right? Because it's one of the enabling lever, right? Into at the end developing and supporting. I would say even supporting at that level is about support, right? With the right perspectives, with the right decisions, and from the aligned place, as you said, where obviously energy plays a role. So Maher, bringing that conversation slowly to the end, because I know we could go on, I guess, but what is that you would like to leave the listeners with? What is like the message that you would like to invite them maybe towards to or give?
I encourage all your listeners to connect with themselves and explore ways how to switch into more people-centric leaders. Seriously, we need to consider the formula of empathy, sympathy, and others, because the world is changing, the world is evolving. It is very important that we keep upskilling and reskilling. To me, it's I tell all the people I met is just keep learning, and we need to remember family comes first. I worked all my life abroad. I was not really all the time around my family, but connect with the family, connect with your family. That would be a good source of energy for all of us. And all the executives, having a coach is something really important and makes a difference.
Thank you very much, Maher. Really, I truly enjoyed this conversation. And so much wisdom. I take away an important aspect of connection and your energy that transpires in this podcast as well, right? Hearing the different experiences, and beautiful inspiration and invitation also for others to really reflect and create those moments of mindfulness, let me say, in a day as well. And I wish you lots of success in whatever comes to you, your way as well. Such a honor to have, you in every company to, help business to thrive, basically, right? Utilizing the human capital and potential. So thank you very much for that as well.
Pleasure is mine. My honor. Thank you very much, Dagmara. Thanks to all your listeners.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
And well, thank you for listening to us, and let us know what's the wisdom and insights that you take from this episode, and see you next time.